Quest.
The Adventure Game Podcast?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. It's Quest. I'm Ben.
And I am Jess.
Thank you for joining us today while you're on the drive to work. You know?
And if you aren't, I'm
then
sorry.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
You're probably...
come
I think I've said this on here. I listen to podcasts usually when I'm puttering.
Mm-hmm.
Podcasts are for puttering.
Podcasts are for puttering. That's what your bumper sticker says.
That's what my bumper sticker says.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be puttering around my house, cleaning, doing dishes, whatever, laundry, what have you. And that's what podcasts are for. They're the soundtrack of to my ears from the usually Los Angeles comics lips. When do you listen to podcasts, Jess?
Only when I'm making love. No, I am a commuter. I drive like 45 minutes to work each way, which is just, perfect for a nice little podcast experience. I only listen to Quest though. Exclusively now. I'm trying to drive up our numbers.
Yeah, you only go to work on Tuesdays.
That's right. And just to get that 45 minutes in, a lot of times I just skip when you're talking. Like I do the 15 seconds ahead. Yeah. To get to the parts where I'm like, I can't wait to hear what I say next.
That's true. Most people love hearing the sound of their own voice.
It's
that's
true. It's
just
not
a
awkward
normal.
or strange.
That's a thing that a lot of people love.
Especially recorded. Yeah, I mean, it just sounds, exactly like I want it to.
Was it Adam Driver? Or like who was the actor that like on, I think it was like Fresh Air or something. Like it's like, all right, now I'm gonna play a clip from the movie, and he walked out. He's like, nope, I do not like to hear my voice. Goodbye.
I think it was Adam Driver. Yeah, this sounds very familiar, and that feels very on brand for him.
Yeah, well, he's tall and intimidating and has that luscious long hair.
Mm-hmm.
I read a thing recently that was like Gen Z are starting to try to understand millennials by watching girls, and I was just like, I didn't even like girls at the time, so I don't know what you're going to glean. Like I watched a couple episodes, I thought it was fine, but it wasn't my thing. If you want to,
are you telling me Lena Dunham is not the voice of your generation?
Yeah, I see what you're doing there. See what you're doing there, Jess.
Yeah, no. It's I mean, it's a complicated intergenerational discussion that needs to be had. I don't know if it needs to be had over girls.
Yeah.
After they get done watching girls, I will come in all Gen X style and be like, now you're gonna watch my so-called life. Sit down. I'm gonna learn you a thing or two.
Jess, I told you about how I spent like a hungover New Year's Day. It might have even been this year, but it might have been last year. I don't even remember anymore. What's time? I spent a hungover New Year's Day laying in my bed watching a YouTube playlist of episodes of MTV's Remote Control.
Oh, man. That's good stuff.
That is as cool as Gen X. Like, to me, that is the peak for those of you who are not familiar. Remote Control was a TV themed game show on MTV from like 88 89 to like 92 or something, like
probably
like late 80s to early 90s ish. And I'm watching it, and it has a very young, and by young I think he was probably like 30 even then, a very young like Colin Quinn.
Yeah. And a very young Colin Quinn still seems like cantankerous 50-year-old. Yeah. A baby Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler and Carrie Werher from Sliders. And I watched it. It's so cozy to me to watch because I'm like, I get it. I this is still very cool to me. Like,
yeah.
And it might be because a lot of like the styles, because everyone in the crowd, and my sister, my older sister, who is a member of Generation X, was in a crowd of an episode of Remote Control once.
What?
And she recalls being told, like, come dressed real cool.
Yeah.
So it's like I watched and I look at all the teenagers in the audience, and they're all dressed in like, cool outfits for the time, and I'm like, this is cool again. All of these outfits are like have looped around in the 90s and the early aughts. Like when I was in college, it like that was seen as like hopelessly like passe. Like you're like the vaporwave aesthetic. You'll see people with that, and you'll see people with mullets, and you'll see like stuff like that. And yeah, in like 2005 when I was in college, you would be caught dead. Like you'd be made fun of in every which way if you had
the ironic mullet didn't exist yet. It would be a little.
I don't think it's ironic now. I don't think,
either.
I don't
it's just
think
like
the
that's
kids
like
with mullets are being ironic about it. Are you a 20-year-old with a mullet and you're listening to our podcast?
Yeah.
The odds are 0. But if you are, send us an email at questquestpodcast@gmail.com to let us know.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how ironic is your hair?
How genuine are you about that hairstyle? Because it's like when I right now here in Chicago is a David Lynch film festival. And I went to 2 screenings this weekend. I saw Eraserhead, and I just came from a screening of Blue Velvet. And it is such an interesting cross section of like cool and hip like Gen Xers down to like outrageously cool 20-year-olds. and I feel so good being in a movie theater with outrageously cool 20-year-olds. I'm like, oh, thank God there's a future in this.
Yeah. Now, are you thinking the whole time, like, I'm pulling this off too? Like, I feel like I should be here.
I've never been outrageously cool at any point in my life.
Just checking.
I'm just like looking around, and I'm just seeing like these like, like 20-year-olds and like and whatnot in a movie theater, watching an old grainy print of Blue Velvet, and we're all just sitting there like, yeah, this is the best. And
well, since the last time we recorded, just to pull back the curtain a bit, we had a chance to hang out in person.
We did
in the big windy city, and
it was
a good time. But speaking of cool people, Ben, I told you a little bit about this briefly, but I have to say, we met up and hung out at a lovely barcade for a bit, had a couple of drinks.
That's right.
Enjoyed the nightlife.
Right.
And as it got really late, like 10 p.m. or so, that's a West Virginia late.
Listen, I didn't last that much later than you. Everybody else said, like, you and my sister, who are about the same age, I believe, like left at about the same time, and then I left about 20 minutes later, and then my little brother and his friends like were out until like 2. And
wow, that's the generational divide.
Like,
yeah, there it is.
I've started to have the realization as I near 40, it's like, oh no, midnight. Like I'm like looking at my hand like Marty McFly, and it's turning into a pumpkin. Like,
yes, but I mean, you talk about cool people in Chicago. So I leave this barcade after we part ways, and I'm waiting for my Uber out on the corner.
Oh, you did tell me this. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Ben, when I tell you the best dressed man I saw in all of Chicago walked up to me.
Now, when you say the best dressed man, like we've been talking about cool. So is this like when in the context of cool, like, because when you initially said like this guy was really well dressed, I was like, was he in like a well-fit 3-piece suit? Or is he like, does he have some real like fucking drip or something? Like what's going on?
No, I mean, it is the former. He was wearing like what appeared to be an incredibly well-tailored suit.
Wow.
Like
Okay.
10 p.m.
Okay.
out on the corner. I mean, this guy is just impeccably dressed.
Right.
And he walks up to him and he says, "Hey, would you like to buy some cocaine?"
Wow.
And I'm just like, this is the coolest drug dealer. Like, I would trust whatever he's selling. Like, I look at this guy, it's like, he didn't buy that suit off of ill-gotten gains. This is a drug dealer I can trust.
No.
Yeah, no.
We have a classy coke
right.
dealer here.
And you know, I'm enough of a country bumpkin. I'm of course like, nah, man, I'm good, but thanks. And then I talked to him for a second. Like, I was like, how you doing tonight?
Oh, it'd be rude to just say no.
Well, I mean, he took the I mean, first of all, I mean, walking up to a stranger and just approaching them, I mean, that takes a lot of guts. I shouldn't just dismiss. I mean, he had to be like very confident to do that. I wanted to let him know that I appreciate his confidence. But yeah, I will say, you say there are cool people in Chicago, and I've got to say, I agree. That guy was really cool.
Terrible coke, though. You know, he sold the sizzle, not the steak. All right. Well, Jess,
not purchase.
Jess, I've got a question for you. What have you been playing?
Wow, Ben, I thought you'd never ask. I have a case, Ben, of Blueprints fever. Everybody out there is playing Blueprints.
Everybody's playing Blueprints.
Oh, come on. That's not what I sound like.
That turned into a mean Southern accent when I was attempting to just like add extra R's to thing. And I'm wondering if like it was me bailing and like my subconscious being like, go for the cheap laugh. Man. Or if adding extra R's
just makes
me like just go there. That will remain a mystery.
Wow. But yeah, I've been playing Blueprints.
It is hard for, I realize now, Blueprints, it is hard for me when I say Blueprint, like I almost say Blueprints. You see what I'm saying?
I think the problem
like
it
gives me a twang.
And if I was saying Blueprints, like it was actually, you know, the pun of the title is supposed to be like blueprints of,
it's a pun?
Yeah, because you're building out a mansion as you play it. So if I say it that way, it's like blueprints is very easy, but blueprints as like two separate words is like a much more difficult, but that's beside the point. I mean, if people are listening to this, there's a good chance they've heard about this. It's the critical darling of the moment. It's a roguelike puzzle adventure game.
Say the word, say the phrase. What have they been calling it, Jess?
Metroidvania.
Oh. Now, by the time this gets out, the discourse will have started and ended.
Yes.
On the phrase Metroidvania. But I just want to join it to say I agree with everyone that's mad about it.
Yeah, no, that's the correct answer. But, I mean, yeah, the whole idea is you're a kid who's inherited a mansion from your uncle, and it has like a secret 46th room you have to discover by roguelike building out all the rooms each day of the game and exploring and solving puzzles. And then at the end of each day, the whole house resets and you have to build it out again. Right now, it is not clicking for me. Like, I have to say, roguelikes in general aren't my jam. The learning process of like erasing, starting over, and doing better the next time does not quite click with me. It never has. I don't play a lot of roguelikes, and this one isn't working for me. And I will say, I saw a Blue Sky post earlier today where someone said, once you hit like hour 12 and you realize what the game is really doing.
Fuck off.
Exactly. That is my exact response to that as well. Yeah, and I hope that's not accurate. I hope that that's an exaggeration. But
that's like a JRPG thing. It's like once you've played Final Fantasy and you get to hour 25, that's when you've actually started the game. It's like, that's a day.
Yeah, but also it's like, at least you know what game you're going to be playing with that one. Like, I get the feeling on this one, it's like, oh, what you think is the game is not the game, and there's an extra game hidden under this game, and you haven't gotten to that game yet. I don't want this thing to frog fraction me or anything.
I think you're gonna get frog fraction.
I don't want to get frog fraction.
I think you're getting, I bet there's a frog, I bet everyone's freaking out, and they're all chuckling, laughing up their sleeves because this is Frog Fractions 3. Remember when that was like the joke?
Yeah.
When, like, it was a very tedious and exhausting joke, and I'm kind of pissed off at myself for making it right now. Like, that every like game release, someone would be like, I bet that's Frog Fractions 2. And then Frog Fractions 2 came out, and everyone's like, well, all right, time to put that one to bed.
We talked about something like that with StairQuest 2. If we ever had StairQuest 2 hiding it inside some benign game, then suddenly people are now trapped in StairQuest 2. Who knows if that ever comes true? People can go back to this podcast and post it on the StairQuest wiki.
It's hidden in Jazz Jackrabbit 2: The Lost Levels.
That's right. That's exactly right. But yeah, I think I'm going to bounce off Blueprints.
I am so worried that is what's going to, because I've also seen like kind of like, because the Blueprints got such a like rapturous, like, you know, immediate, like everybody just was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the last like couple days I've started to see people be like, eh. I think the thing for me, what I see people saying online, which is kind of dissuading me from getting it, is that they're like, it's great, you could take notes. And you see, here's the thing. You can't say it's great and then you could take notes in like the same sentence, because those are not, those aren't things. I don't consider a quality of greatness being that you take notes. Now, I know that there's some of you who are sickos who are like, I love taking notes. I love taking notes.
Can't get enough of it.
I love taking notes.
I encourage everybody that is wondering where we stand on note taking. Go back and listen to episode 1. First of all, it will make you appreciate this episode so much more. And second of all, you can hear me and Ben talk about that's just not how we roll. We don't roll with notes.
I'm not a notesman.
Nope, not at all. 0 notes for me. I'd rather never finish a game than write down one code that it requires me to. If I can't memorize it, or ask chat to memorize it for me, I don't need to solve that puzzle.
There's only one code I care about, and that's codename Iceman.
Well, Ben, speaking of codename Iceman, which is a game you've played, what have you been playing?
Jess, I've been playing a little game called Monaco 2.
Oh, wow, a racing game.
No.
What?
No.
Oh.
Did you play Monaco 1?
No.
Or Monaco?
No. I absolutely do not know anything about it. In fact, when I saw you and Grayson talking about it on the Discord, I assumed it was a racing sim.
No, so Monaco, which came out, I would say about 10 years ago, is I believe up to 4-player co-op game. It's a heist game. You're all robbers, and the original is this kind of top-down 2D game. You each play a different co-op heist member, and each has one special ability, and you work together to steal like the diamond in the mansion or whatever. And it's cute, it's fun. I played it with friends. I had a great time 10 years ago. And then and I think it was like a reasonably liked co-op game. Like it seemed like people really enjoyed it at the time. And then flash forward to this past week, Grayson's like, hey Ben, Monaco 2 is out, do you want to play it? And I was like, there's a 2? There's a sequel out? And like looking at the Steam page and the relative lack of press conference, it just seems like nobody it doesn't seem like a lot of people saw. I'm opening up the feed right now. Like, take a look at the store page. Has there been so now there's 56. It's mostly positive. There's 56 reviews. And you know what? It's perfectly fine. It is a fun little like sneaky heist game that's fun to play with a friend. The difference between this and the original is that now it's like a isometric 3D game, and it's fun. I played it with Grayson for a little over an hour. We played a couple missions, had a good time. Like, you know, it was Monaco. It's a fun little, like, if you've got a place in your heart for a fun little sneaky heist, like 4-player game, you know, you could probably do worse than Monaco too. It's a pretty good game.
Well, there you have it.
The little over an hour I played, I was like, this was entertaining.
That's all I'm looking for in a game.
Yeah.
I just want to be entertained, Ben. I don't have to think and write notes.
Yeah. Ugh.
Have you taken a single note?
You want to know how many notes? You want to know how many notes I took while I was playing Monaco 2 with Grayson?
How many?
0.
Wow. That's the least you can take.
That's not a note was wrote.
No notes wrote. You heard it here first.
Well, Jess, time for our next segment. We got a email.
Wow. An electronic mail.
So this is from Mark. Mark says, "Hi, Ben and Jess. I just wanted to let you guys know that your podcast is the real deal. Fair dinkum."
Yeah, fair dinkum. There it is. There it is.
I've been listening to a few retro gaming, adventure gaming podcasts over the past few years, and yours is my current favorite. It's rare to find a chill podcast where a couple mates sit back and talk about games I care about, i.e. adventure games. Even the tangents are amusing, parentheses, well, most of the time, emoji, tongue out.
Fair. I would agree.
No, everyone is gold. I like the fact that you're doing a knockout tournament for LucasArts Adventures and found myself agreeing with all your choices in the first round. Which, and Mark's point here. But to be fair, most of those matchups were no contest. Yeah. I'm curious to see what you pick for the next one, but it better be Loom, Day of the Tentacle, Monkey Island 1 and 2. Hint, hint. Any chance you'll do one for Sierra Adventures? Cheers, Mark G.
Wow, thank you, Mark. You're also our favorite listener right now, so that's outstanding. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Boy, this tournament, Ben, April Madness, has got people going crazy.
Now, so and I think we said this in the last one. I think we'll wrap it today. I mean, maybe we won't.
I hope we do. That's the goal. I
think we'll wrap it.
Last time was real easy. Like, you asked me, what's a better game, Secret of Monkey Island or Zach McCracken? Well, and I can knock that out pretty quickly. This round,
this is going to be tough.
We're down to 8 good games in this tournament bracket to determine.
They're good old games.
Adventure game of all time. I mean, this is Ben. I feel like this is going to be the episode where we make enemies.
Well, yes, but before we talk about this episode itself, let's answer Mark's question about Sierra, because we'll get to the whole topic of this episode. But do you think? I mean, we'll probably do this with Sierra. Like, the thing is with LucasArts, and I'm sure everybody like is with LucasArts, there's like such a tight catalog where like Sierra is enormous. I think we could probably do, if we wanted to do something similar for Sierra, was either do it by series or like break up the series, because like you could probably have some of the series, so you could have like early Space Quest versus late Space Quest, but I know like
That's tough
I
too.
don't
Yeah,
even know because it's
it's
just
hard.
like all of those games are very, very different.
Yeah. And it's hard to like put like a beginning and end on a Sierra bracket like that. Like, are the high res
That might be
games like
two.
Mystery House?
It might
It,
be two brackets.
yeah, is
It might be
dynamics in
two
there?
divisions.
Is Cocktail Vision part of it? I mean, yeah, I mean that is first of
I
all, it's like I feel like yes, eventually that will probably happen.
I
Short
would
answer.
I would keep it. I would cut out Cocktail Vision. So, we're not going to do Heart of China or Deja Vu. Oh wait,
Bad
Heart of
news for all the
China
Deja
is
Vu heads up.
Dynamics.
Yeah,
Which
is
yeah, I'd
Cocktail is
cut
that?
out Dynamics too. Cocktail Vision, that would be Inca
What
and
about Wally
Goblins.
Beamish?
Wally Beamish, we would probably have to keep out, but there's part of me that's just like, you know what, Wally Beamish, you get
You get a pass.
sachet you stay to be immediately eliminated.
Trounced by yeah. That's like
Like
Wally Beamish. I respect you enough that I want you here, but you're getting beaten by like King's Quest 2 or whoever you're up against in the
yeah,
bracket.
like
Yeah,
Wally Beamish is getting knocked out immediately, but it's just like I'm not going to fucking play those other dynamics games. You're just not. I'm not going to do it.
Rise
Uh,
of the Dragon time, Ben. It's coming for
and
you.
but yeah, Cocktail Vision, because yeah, mushed in some of the dynamics games with that. Cocktail Visions, that'd be Goblins 1, 2, 3, and Woodruff and the Schnibble, which is
Yeah,
a fun name to say.
it is.
I've never played Woodruff and the Schnibble, but I have fun saying it. I think just for simplicity's sake, you'd probably want to keep it to those in-house Sierra, and
Yeah,
then maybe like cut out like and keep it for simplicity's sake, because this is what most people talk about, like do it of the 3D animated adventures, which would be to say King's Quest 1 on, so Wizard and the Princess would be out, right?
yeah. I think
Like
so. I
people
mean,
aren't writing hard for fucking, was it Time Zone, Time Warp?
yeah, Cranston Manor, Time
Like
Zone. Yeah,
the only
they're
one that people talk about is Mystery House, right? Like that's the
Wizard and the
one that
Princess
gets
is
the
there, but
most
I mean,
play.
yeah, I mean, they're even by the standard of like rudimentary, graphical adventures, they're not great.
You know what I'd love to do? I would not mash together the remakes. I would have the remakes and the originals compete
Oh,
separately.
I like this idea.
I think that would be fun because it
Mm-hmm.
would give me, that one of our best performing. So there are three. We have three top episodes in terms of listens. It's the first episode, but that's not number one. Number one is our Quest for Glory 1 episode, and it's because
Mm-hmm.
everyone wants to hear about the clay freak faces, and
That's
I
right.
don't
Clay
blame them.
freak faces are huge. That people like.
Clay freak faces.
Look, Ben, I'm having a tough time.
It's a malpropism
Yeah.
Sunday.
Can you just like fix all of this in post for me? Like
Yeah.
AI voice or something. Like drain a lake basin and use AI to correct all of my mistakes.
I'm on it. I'm on it. Um, but yeah, I would want to. I would enjoy any excuse. I think the thing for me is I think I've played all of them except for the Leisure Suit Larry ones, because I have not received permission from my parents to play them
Mm-hmm.
yet. And
Well,
also I
also, I
can't
mean, you
solve
have
the
to.
quiz at
I
the
was gonna say you
start
had to
of
pass the quiz. So yeah,
yeah,
I mean, who knows?
I can't solve the quiz at the start of Larry 1.
Mhm. You don't know a lot of great Watergate era references,
Here
and
here's the thing, I should probably play Leisure Suit Larry because eventually we'll have to do a Leisure Suit Larry one of
mhm.
these, and like
We will have no choice.
yeah, like there will be a gun, like it's like record this, and
Mhm.
and the thing is that like you played it as a kid and you played it at the time, and so you have like a completely different vantage point of me playing them in 2025 for pretty much the first time. I've noodled around in the first game a couple times, but
Hmm.
that's roughly it.
Yeah,
So
that would be a
uh
fascinating perspective.
that would be a fascinating perspective that pisses off a lot of people.
Yeah,
I guarantee it. But let's not kill any more time. Yeah, we'll do the Sierra one. It just would require more, since Lucas is such a nice and tight.
yeah.
But yeah, but let's not let's do it. Let's get to these what we're doing today. Just what are we doing today?
Ben, we are here in round two of what we're calling April Madness. We have put together a tournament bracket of all the LucasArts adventure games, and we are determining scientifically, objectively. I don't want to hear anybody after this episode comes out telling us we're wrong because we've put a lot of thought and work into this.
Yeah, we put a lot of work into it, and I'm just a
Yeah,
little boy. I'm just
just a
a
small
small
guy.
boy. I'm
Yeah.
just a small boy.
Do
I'm
you
just
want
a
to hurt
little
Ben's
boy.
feelings? I
Do you
wouldn't
want to
hurt
hurt my
Ben's feelings.
feelings?
No.
Just a
Who
little boy.
does? Who would?
I'm
Who
just a little
would?
boy.
Just he's just a little
I'm
boy.
just a little boy.
But no, so yeah, we've been in head-to-head matchups. We have been moving through this first round, and Ben, we are down to what I'm calling the Great Eight.
the
We are
the
down to
the
eight
the
teams.
great. Now, so we're recording this. This is kind of an unusual record for us. I think maybe we've done this one other time where it's like we're recording this Sunday, it goes out Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right.
Barring that I'm not able to put it together in time,
Yes,
which is
which
possible.
could very well happen. Yeah.
Um, but so we have, though, like this has a distinct advantage of that we also got to see. Jess, you put the bracket out there online for everyone to make their own. And do you want to talk about a little bit about what we saw out there? Because a lot of people made this. This
Oh,
actually, a lot of people made them.
like I feel like dozens of people filled out these brackets and posted them online. I mean, it was
And
a
a lot of
deluge.
you aren't listeners, and I know it.
That's right. I didn't want to say anything, but I did. It's like, oh, you got time to fill out a bracket, but you can't listen to an hour and a half long podcast.
Yeah,
Great,
time
great, great,
time for
great.
me to be passive aggressive to people that aren't interested in
Yeah,
a nearly a 2 hour podcast.
yeah, that are suddenly into this aspect of it for once, and now I want to shame them. No, but
Uh,
I mean, we have seen a lot of games being, like pushed ahead. Like I'd say the games that we're seeing most frequently, if I
yeah,
can, like from looking at other people's brackets, the games that seem to be coming out on top. We're seeing a lot of Day of the Tentacle.
I would say Day of the Tentacle, if not the majority, is the plurality choice
Mm-hmm. And then
of
what else have we seen up there? Secret of
uh
Monkey Island.
yeah, what my Secret of Monkey Island I've seen a couple times. It's really like the main pattern I saw was it was like Day of the Tentacle, which I would also say like I think that Day of the Tentacle is probably the consensus fate. Like, wasn't it? It was like either Adventure Gamer or Rock Paper Shotgun or probably both. Honestly, like had a top adventure games of all time list, and like Day of the Tentacle is at the top of it. Like,
I believe so.
I
And I
think,
mean,
yeah,
yeah, it's up there. Like when you look at countdowns of LucasArts games, Day of the Tentacle, Grim Fandango oftentimes does really well. And those, Secret of Monkey Island, of course, performs strongly. And they are our top seeds in this tournament. So
I loved seeing and I hope you're listening like you're listening. I loved seeing the ones where people went against our first round picks.
yes, absolutely.
Because I saw a couple of those which I was just like that's awesome. I'm fascinated like I saw some people that went with Maniac Mansion in the first round. And what was Maniac Mansion against?
Maniac Mansion was up against Curse of Monkey Island.
Yeah. So I saw some of that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Some
also saw
dig advanced over
I
Fate of
saw
Atlantis.
some big dig heads,
Yeah,
and
big dig energy.
yeah, big dig energy. And then I saw someone's bracket who like escaped from Monkey Island, like had like a Cinderella run, and I was just like, I really like. I'm glad that it has like it's shooters. That's great.
Yeah. No,
There,
this has been fascinating to me. I've loved the reaction to this episode, or at least the reaction to the concept of this
yeah,
tournament.
they're.
Um,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just say, I'm especially glad that nobody's been too upset about our arbitrary bracket building.
Yeah,
You know,
they're
we
gonna be
haven't
upset
gotten.
after today
They will
because
be. Yeah, this is
um
going to be the end of all this goodwill that we built with last episode.
but like back on the Escape from Monkey Island one for a little bit, it just makes me think like I remember hearing there was a pinball machine that came out that just wasn't particularly well received. It was just like, you know, when something like where just among fans of it, like it just was like kind of shorthand for it, like everyone's like, well, that one was a flop, not fun.
Mm-hmm.
um but that game, including myself, this was for they did one on Avengers, and uh they've made two Avengers games, and this was the first one on the first Avengers movie. um and I remember the designer for it saying like, yeah, you know, we have like a saying that like the CEO said once. It's just like every pinball machine ends up in a house. It was like, or like it finds its house, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, which is to say he's like, you know, like it might not be popular with like, it might not be like the overall consensus favorite, it might not be, but they're like, you know, when I played that Avengers game, I played it and I was like, I don't know, like this just clicks for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love how it shoots, I love how weird it is. It's kind of a pain in the ass game, but like its weirdness was very appealing to me at the time. um and so it's like it like would have a spot in my house if, you know, I could have room for pinball machines, and the money
Mm-hmm.
and the glamorous lifestyle that it implies.
That's right. I mean,
But
the life of leisure that your very own pinball machine suggests.
please, Jess, the life of leisure.
Oh, wow. I'm going to give you some elocution lessons tonight. This is.
All right, so what? Yeah, I'm Henry Higgins tonight.
Yeah. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.
Oh, brother.
Okay.
All right, let's enough of this. Enough of this. Enough of this.
I'm scared. I'm
Yeah.
scared. This is like
Here, let
Ben.
me put you at ease.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
That resets. That puts me in a nice, calm,
Yeah.
easy space.
Like, I'm just afraid halfway through this record, like a brick is going to fly through your window and it's going to have a note tied to it. It's like loom or else or something like that. And I just don't know if we're ready for this.
All right.
Is it time? Okay.
Yeah, it's time.
Ben,
Matchup number one. What's the first one?
matchup number one. This is hard already. Grim Fandango, this was our number one seed, versus Loom, which defeated Full Throttle in the first round. So we have Grim Fandango and we have Loom.
So so Grim was a game that I think it made it far on a lot of people's lists. I don't know if I recall, you were resharing a lot of people's brackets, so you probably looked at a lot more of them than I did. How many Grims made it all the way to the end
I
of
didn't see a
people's,
lot of Grims. I saw a lot of
and
Grims that advanced past this matchup,
yeah,
but I didn't
and
see a lot that took the prize.
I don't want, and to be clear, I don't want to have other people's opinions like
Mhm.
kind of color mine,
If
but I
anything,
think
I
it's
would go
just
opposite their opinions if it did influence me anyway.
what I think is interesting is what that says is that Grimm has seen a revision downward in the like I think honestly, since the remaster. Uh
Now
like
this is interesting.
I like, and I don't have empirical evidence of this. I just feel a vibe. So maybe I'm totally wrong here. But I get the sense the Grim Fandango has moved from, I think that like during the quote, like, we our earlier podcast, our adventure games dead, like during that period where it really did seem like that the genre was like dead, uh like during that period in like the like before 2010,
Hmm.
um like Grim Fandango and The Longest Journey were seen as like these two final masterpieces, right?
Yeah, like works of art, especially Grand Fandango. Like the yeah, and that's not to knock it because it is a beautiful, wonderful game. But yeah, absolutely, I think it was like unquestionably like the masterpiece that people point to. You know, people may have loved like a Secret of Monkey Island or something a little bit more, but Grand Fandango is positioned at some level as a greater artistic achievement, I think, than most of the rest of the LucasArts catalog.
And it's not hard to see why, because
Right.
it is like an absolutely gorgeous game, like for an early 3D game, like Tim Schafer's call to pick the Calavera dolls as the
Hmm.
model because they're easy to 3D model, and then do those incredible late 90s 3D pre-render backgrounds that are so detailed, that have that like gorgeous art deco, like, it has that remarkable like live band like soundtrack. It has a phenomenal voice cast. It has like, and I think for years, again, maybe I'm wrong, but I think for years the knock on it, on Grim Fandango, was it's great. It just has like, kind of that early, like they didn't know what to do with the interface. It has those awful
Hmm.
tank controls. Um and like, but that's the problem. And then, and maybe like, and again, this is just a vibes feeling. This isn't an empirical thing, but I think the revision downward is like Grim Fandango Remastered comes out. It has mouse controls. It has better gamepad controls. Then you play it and you still are a little frustrated.
Yeah, you know, I
And
think this
so
is
it's
my
not I mean, the UI is a pain in the ass if you
Mhm.
play it originally, but it's not the UI that's the only problem.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, this is my experience. I did not play Grim Fandango until 2 or 3 years ago for the first time. I missed it, upon its initial release, and coming back to it, I mean, yeah, style by the bushel. I mean, this is a game that is, just,
And there's
it's
nothing
hard
like
to
it.
yeah, it's hard to think of something more stylish, especially when it's released in 1998, and maybe we weren't seeing as much of the Day of the Dead imagery in the United States as maybe it's more familiar now, and it really seemed fresh and just a really just gorgeous, great sound and great acted game, as you said. But I have to say, I really bounced off of the puzzles pretty hard. It's like I love everything about Grim Fandango except the parts that are a video game. And they aren't horrible. They're not bad. I mean, it's still a very good game. But those parts, yeah, I don't think it's the tank controls as much as it is just, yeah, I don't know that the puzzling is particularly fun. I don't think it takes advantage of this interesting world it's created in those puzzles necessarily.
And it's hard. I love Grim Fandango. I
Hmm.
purchased Grim Fandango at release. I had it.
Hmm.
I completed Grim Fandango at the time. Tank controls, didn't mind, not a
Hmm.
problem. I definitely used hints, because like, I mean, uh a lot of it is very difficult.
Yeah. I mean,
It
it's interesting too because I think then of its matchup in this round, Loom.
Yeah,
If anything, I think that it has risen in people's estimation
yeah.
through the years. I mean, Loom, the knock on it. I mean, as it was
Was that
mocked
is too
in
short,
Space
too
Quest
easy?
4s. Too short, too
Opposite.
easy. I mean, basically, it got some level of like the 1990s version of like the walking simulator
For sure.
criticism. And I think that adventure gamers have really come to appreciate what it was doing much, much more. I mean, and again, it's a game that is artistically gorgeous in its own way. It's a game that is very non-traditional in its puzzle style. But this, I think that in a lot of ways we do see. I mean, again, nobody's saying Grim Fandango's bad, but I don't know that it's like the automatic, obvious number one choice
So
that it was years ago.
so so here's the thing. So both of these games are outrageously original,
Mm-hmm.
like truly original visions. I like Grim goes further, but it has a lot more resources at its ability. It's like I think it was a 3 CD game. It's a very like and I think that's one of the other reasons that it was held up Grim for so long is that it's like, and this is still true. Like Grim Fandango is probably like the last time a game like Grim Fandango will be made as a traditional adventure game with that amount of resources at its disposal.
Yeah.
Like like never ever say never, of course. Like, there are no certainties certainly in the game business, but it's like you look at something like Grim Fandango, it's 4 acts. The second act is longer than Loom.
Yeah.
Honestly, all
Yeah.
4 acts
Yeah.
are longer than Loom,
It's
and
probably
some of
like
the
six
acts are
looms.
shorter.
It's
But
6 looms long.
oh, I would say it's longer than 6 looms. Like it is, and but the Rubikava sequence, which is absolutely spectacular in
Mm-hmm.
terms of so that's the second act, that's the second year in the game. It is an adventure game wholly in itself. It has its
Yes.
own set of characters and sequences. It is like your traditional LucasArts game, which we're going to be talking a lot about. This has like a central part, which is like this large open area where you have usually like 3 objectives that you can do in any order. That's what Rubikava is, and like it is remarkable. Also, at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, it is enormous. You have these big objectives and you have very difficult puzzles, and you run around not knowing what to do for hours.
Yes. And doing this live when I streamed it, I mean, it was like a lot of it was running around, and then as you run around, of course, having to occasionally reorient the direction you're running because of the controls and shifting perspective. And it
Well,
but it's one. I mean,
what's interesting to me when I watched you play Grim Fandango, and I realize we're talking way more about Grim Fandango, but I think it merits a lot of discussion because it's but when I was watching you play it, I also had the feeling that the game is made for the tank controls. The game is made because when I watched you run around and you would miss like
mm-hmm.
exits and entrances to scenes and you would miss some
Yes.
hot spots. And when I was playing with tank controls, like Manny's head like swings and looks at every hot spot. Manny, like I would run Manny around the circumference of a scene, and then he would go into like whatever side passage. Like the game was made with the tank
Mm-hmm.
controls in mind, and when they like just dropped in point and click controls, like some of those hotspots and entrances and exits to screens aren't as obvious in a point and click, which is not Grim Fandango's fault. Like, I don't think that should be held against it in this
No.
tournament
No.
because that's the remasters problem. That's
Right.
not the 1998 game's fault. 8, right?
Right. Yes.
But anyway, so last round, what was Loom against last time?
Loom
Was Full Throttle,
won an
right?
upset over Full Throttle, and that's one
So
that a lot of
another
our listeners advanced Full Throttle there.
and so the thing that advanced Loom over Full Throttle, which is another wildly original Tim
Mm-hmm.
Schafer game. The thing that advanced Loom over Full Throttle was that it doesn't have the stuff that like pisses you off, which Full Throttle does.
Yes.
And in Full Throttle versus Loom, that makes sense because they're both 5-pound games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that one of those games, like a pound of it, is kind of like itching powder.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. I like this.
Now this is a 5-pound game versus a 20-pound game.
Yes.
And so now the question is, it's like, all right, well, Loom is this nice, tight game that its biggest sin is that like it kind of like it ends like on an unresolved like open note. Um it and its other biggest problem is that you can solve it in like 2.5 hours, you
Yeah.
know. So uh
I don't know.
what to do here?
Oh, Ben.
Because
Here,
it's like so if it's held up in the same way as Full Throttle versus Loom, it's that Loom advances here.
okay.
If it is if we're not looking at it at the exact same way, like I've had Grim Fandango music like on playlists.
Yes.
There are moments from Grim Fandango that stick with me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh like um but there's also moments that stick with me because they are so tedious and piss me off.
Oh.
So I sincerely don't know which way I'm leaning.
Oh,
Um
man. I mean, is this the time for the 1, 2, 3 we answer at the same
yeah,
time
it's
and
a
see
one,
where
two,
we're at?
three. It's a one, two,
Okay.
three.
Okay.
All right.
1,
One,
2,
two,
3.
three.
Loom.
Loom.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
There it
Loom
is.
moves
It's
on.
Loom. Loom
Yeah,
moves on. Man,
I did know. All right, next. Let's go. We got a big night. We're
yeah, big
already
night. Yeah, big night. Well, this one should be super easy. These are all so hard now. Sam and Max hit the road versus our number 5 seed, LeChuck's Revenge, Monkey Island 2. This is number 4
this is
seed
a
versus number
very
5 seed.
this is a very hard one because they're both games I think that have a similar problem that I
Yep.
both love. Like they're games that I think they're both like kind of beautiful. I know that I think it was what Peter Chan, the gentleman who did the art, the
Mm-hmm.
backgrounds, didn't like that dithered look, but I have a fondness for that,
Yeah.
like that dithering. So it's like Secret of Monkey Island 2 is or like LeChuck's Revenge is like an outlier of LucasArts games because it has that like kind of dithered look, which is kind of like it's kind of Sierra-y.
The backgrounds are more Sierra. They have that like I don't think they are digitized paintings, or are they
I
digitized
think they
paintings in
are. I
that? They
think
are.
they
Yeah, and it
are. I
gives
think
that
that's
vibe.
why
Yeah.
they didn't do
Mm-hmm.
that. Like
Yeah, because I
that's
think I've seen the painting of Wood Tick and
yeah.
some of the other
I think
locations.
so. I
Yeah.
think so. Um I I you know um so Sam and Max I hold to is I think it's straight up funnier. I think Sam and Max is funnier. I think Sam and
I would
Max
agree.
is I think that the writing in Sam and Max Hit the Road, and I'm already on the record saying this multiple times. I think Sam and Max Hit the Road's writing is some of the funniest game writing there is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and beautiful in just when it knows when to pull back. Like it's not overwritten. The comedy is there. It hits. It knows when to get out. Yeah, I mean, Monkey Island 2 is a funny game too. I mean, I don't know if you could find a Monkey Island game, even when Escape is at its worst. Escape's a pretty funny Monkey Island game.
Mhm.
It's
Well, it has Dominic
LeChuck.
Armato,
That's
which
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, when I was playing Tales for the finishing Tales for the first time, I played a little bit of
Hmm.
Tales at the time, but like playing Tales of Monkey Island, the Telltale one, I was like, oh, what a treat it is to play like more Monkey Island with Dominic Armato, who just does such a great
Yeah.
job voicing
Absolutely.
Guybrush.
And of course, he's
And
here
he
in the
does a great job
remake of
voicing him in
yeah,
the remake
yeah.
they did.
This one's tough for me too. Like something that came up a lot in our Discord and a little bit on Blue Sky as well that I hadn't thought about before. Some people mentioned that Sam and Max, with its sort of American road trip, roadside attraction thing,
Mm.
didn't necessarily translate outside
Mm.
of this specific cultural uh,
Milieu.
milieu,
Yeah.
as well as it could, which
Remember,
I
we're
never
working
thought
on
of
your
before.
elocution
I
today.
know I'm trying, man. I'm doing my best, but no, I'd never really thought about that before. And I guess Monkey Island 2 has its own issue with like the monkey wrench joke where it didn't translate out of the US either. But I never thought about that in that context. I don't know if that's like a knock against Sam and Max. I mean, Sam and Max is what it's trying to be. For me, I mean, this isn't the matchup we're talking about. For me, though, I know there's a strand of adventure gamers out there who would put LeChuck's Revenge ahead of Secret of Monkey Island. A
Yeah.
lot of people, I think,
I'm not
consider it.
one. Well, yeah, I'm not one of them.
That's not me either. That's not me either. No,
I,
I'm a secret guy
yeah.
uh, in that regard. So, yeah, I mean, I do think that there's a lot to like about Monkey Island too. I like getting able to travel around to the various islands. I think that's kind of fun. They're clever gags like the wanted poster that really stick
Mhm.
with me that I love. The introduction of Wally as a
Yeah.
supporting character, fantastic. I still think, I've said this before. My favorite joke in adventure game history is in Monkey Island 2. It is when Guybrush first walks into Wally's shack and he asks him what he does. And and Wally responds, "I'm a cartographer." And Guybrush says, "You do open heart surgery in here?" Which is my all time favorite adventure game joke. As we'll
Yeah.
go on record, I think that is a beautiful little joke. So it wins some real points
I
with me there.
I like LeChuck's Revenge also because it feels um it it feels like you're exploring more
Mm-hmm.
in it. Like Sam and Max, like you've got like this big, map of the US and each of those is like these discrete areas that have like maybe 4 or 5 screens each. Some are a little bigger than others, some of them
Mm-hmm.
are very small, some of them are a little bit bigger. Um whereas like uh Monkey Island 2 has these like largely you spend a little more time elsewhere too, but like largely these 3 islands that like you explore pretty thoroughly, and like it it feels like you're really like exploring these spots, like, and that's something that kind of scratches a piece of my brain, like as an adventure game.
That Space Quest 3 vibe, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's like, oh, I've got control of the ship, I could go to all these
Yeah.
planets. And so that's
No.
something I like that Sam and Max doesn't
Mhm.
have.
That's right. I mean, you can kind of, I mean, you're on a road trip, you have all these different locations, but it doesn't quite feel the same in that regard. Yeah, I would agree. You know, I think something that works against Monkey Island 2 for me is, it also is the game that introduces adventure gamers for the first time to the patented Ron Gilbert ending. I feel like that we would get to experience a few more times in future Ron Gilbert games. I've never cared much for the ending of Monkey Island 2.
You don't like his kooky rug pulls?
I don't like the kooky rug pulls. I'll be honest. I
Yeah.
love Ron Gilbert's work. I love a lot of his games. I played Death Spank 2, just for the record.
Yeah.
Start to finish. I mean, that's the
Whoa,
level
I
of
didn't beat
dedication.
the Death Spanks. I
I
played
beat
him a little
both
bit,
the
and I
Death
was just
Spanks.
like,
So,
all right.
yeah, nobody mistake this for me saying I'm not a Ron Gilbert fan.
Nobody
But
respank this.
nobody respect this. But no, I I don't care for the ending that much, and I don't care much for the ending of Return to Monkey Island, and I've been told I won't care much for the ending of Thimbleweed Park. I haven't
Oh
finished that
no,
one,
no.
but
You won't.
yeah, so
Thimbleweed Park is a fun game though.
yeah, but this is a tough one for me.
You want to do a countdown?
Is it countdown time?
Well, we could talk a little more, or we could talk about
I mean, I
Sam
think
Max.
I'm ready to count down, Ben.
All right, let's
We've
count
got
down. All
okay,
right. 3.
2.
Wait, are we counting? Which way are we counting? Because you
We're
said
counting
1.
down. You said count down, so we'll count down. Okay,
Yeah.
3,
3, 2,
2,
1.
1.
Sam and
Max.
Max. All right. Yeah.
I love it too much. I just can't
Yeah.
resist it. It is so funny to me. We have plenty of Monkey Island left in the bracket. Guybrush is going to get his chance. People are not going to like this.
Yeah, people aren't going to like this, but oh well. I think yeah, I don't know.
I'm doing this for three people, Ben.
To quote Jessica Rabbit, it makes me laugh. Like
I'm doing this podcast for 3 people. You, me, and Almighty God up in heaven.
That's right.
And
that's right.
That's
Amen.
the only people who can judge me.
Amen. That's right. Amen. All right. What's the next one?
Okay, the next matchup, Ben. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
We have our number 2 seed, The Secret of Monkey Island.
All right.
Facing off against our number 7 seed, The Curse of Monkey Island.
This is very difficult.
I've heard both of these are good games.
Yeah. I adore Curse of Monkey Island. I loved it at the time. It really blew me away at the time, especially as I said, like the voice performance from Dominic Armato is just like when I got a computer with a CD-ROM in the mid 90s, and then I was able to revisit some of the old disc games that I had played with like CDs and with the voice tracks. I would always be a little disappointed because the voice in my head was a little different than, or like it just didn't sound right, just didn't sound correct.
Right.
And then I remember turning on Curse of Monkey Island, and Guybrush opens his mouth and talks, and I was just like, that is the voice of Guybrush Threepwood. It was
1000%
the voice I had in my head, but it doesn't matter. Like the second he spoke, I was like, that is Guybrush Threepwood. That is absolutely it. His performance is so good, and like in like a great adventure game, like voice acting performance, like usually you have the subtitles on, and so it's like sometimes you just click through it, but a great voice acting performance really lifts up the material.
Absolutely. And I mean, it is so good and so definitive. Within a few minutes of playing Curse of Monkey Island, it's almost like, at the time I could hear his voice back in Monkey Island 1 and 2. It almost was like it reverberated back through time. I could imagine now how he was sounded delivering some of those famous bits from Monkey Island 1 and 2. And of course, you later get to when they do the remasters of both of those. But I mean, it is, I mean, I don't know, if you tell me the in the annals of adventure game voice work, I got to figure. I mean, this is the goat. I feel like this is the goat brush. I don't know if there. I mean, what? Who else is up there? I mean, maybe like a Gary Owens as Space Quest
Yeah,
narrator.
Gary Owens, and that's another person that really raises the quality of the material.
Yes.
Like in like like Space Quest 6 has its problems, but it's like the incredible Josh Mandel like description writing is already pretty funny. Like he's a
Yeah.
very funny writer. And then you have a guy with this hilarious voice who read these descriptions,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden something that would have just been funny reading it as text is like it's a multiplier.
Yeah.
It's like a
Absolutely.
2x.
So you heard
And
here first, folks. Space Quest 6 advances.
yeah.
This is this throws the whole bracket off. Oh
Oh my
man.
god, no one said a dog can't play.
A late
All
entrant
right.
into the tournament.
All
It's
right.
Space Quest 6, The Battle Frontier.
I I also
No.
think that Curse of Monkey Island is not I don't, and maybe I'm just not part of these conversations. Maybe this is part of the conversation all the time. I think Curse of Monkey Island has one of the most absurdly bends out of its way to be fair designs of
Mm-hmm.
any adventure game.
Even
It
in difficult
works
mode. And yeah.
so hard
Mm-hmm.
to really clue you in. I would say like, and it doesn't always succeed. I would say especially in
Mm-hmm.
like Blood Island, there's a
Yeah.
couple little things that are kind of a pain in the
Mm-hmm.
ass. But like I think it's a very like it's a game that feels like it's aware of all of the criticism of adventure games,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like we're not gonna like it's gonna have puzzles and you're gonna have to figure stuff out, but it's not like you could figure it out. We're going to clue the hell out of you, and also are going to make your objectives like super clear.
Yeah. And I feel like it does it in that way that great adventure games do of, you know, it manages to clue you in on all that stuff and point you in the right direction without seeming easy in the process. Like at no point does it ever seem like this is a cakewalk. Rather, it's that constant feeling of like, oh yeah, I put the pieces together and now this puzzle makes sense and I can move forward. More so than it's just handing these solutions to me. It doesn't have like that Leisure Suit Larry 5 vibe, which you haven't played, but it's a game that's just like, yeah, sure, just we don't even care about this being a game. We just want you to finish it. And Curse of Monkey Island, even again in Mega Monkey mode, is that what they call the difficult version in Curse? I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, I mean,
More
it's
puzzles
still
mode. Yeah.
yeah, it's still a very fair game. Like the bit with when you encounter Blondebeard in the shack and have to get his gold tooth to show that you know how to procure treasure. And in the Mega Monkey mode, you're like floating it around in a chewing gum bubble and all this sort of stuff. I mean, it is just a fantastic game. And I will say also, I will stand by this. I think that Curse of Monkey Island remains maybe the most gorgeous adventure game ever created. I think it may be the prettiest adventure game of all time.
All right. Well, let's talk about Secret.
Oh, it's
Because
also amazing.
yeah, so here's the thing. Uh I think like where I'm like Curse of Monkey Island is so tightly designed and
Hmm.
it's very fair and it's fairer than anything else. There's one other game that I think does that very well. And guess what game that is?
Is
It's
it
The
Secret of Monkey
Secret of
Island?
Monkey
Yeah.
Island, which
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
which is, it came out 7 years before,
Hmm.
and also has, and in kind of a revolutionary way, because not a lot of their games were like this tightly designed at this time. Not zero, not none of them, but like
Hmm.
you
It
know
stands out.
it really stands out because it's like if you think about like the like the Ron Gilbert design ethos. Like he wrote like this manifesto. I think you could find it on his Grumpy Gamer
Mm-hmm.
website about like it's like here's all the frustrating things that no one likes in adventure games. It's like no one likes dead ends, no one likes dying, no one likes like confusing puzzles. It was something like that. I haven't read it in a while, but it's like
Yeah.
Secret of Monkey Island lives up to all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It has an extremely tight design. It has one of the greatest puzzle sequences of any game, which every other Monkey Island game, with the exception of LeChuck's Revenge, chases after, which is
Ah,
to
yes.
say
Insult
insult
sword
sword
fighting.
fighting. One of the weakest parts in Curse Monkey Island is when they're just like, let's just do insult sword fighting again, I guess.
But now it
Uh
rhymes.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
that's
They
one of the
never
weakest
capture that
parts
lightning.
of
Yeah.
Escape from Monkey Island. I
Yeah.
think Tails is the one that like they found some clever ways
Mm-hmm.
to kind of mess around with that concept, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And then Return didn't have anything, did it? No, it
I
didn't.
don't think so. I don't think so. No. And I mean, also, it's a testament to Monkey Island, Secret of Monkey Island, that just the very second that insult sword fighting is starting to get a little bit, sort of monotonous. Like I've done this enough times, I get the thing. It ends and it moves on. That's like where it does better than Monkey Combat,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
right about the time you're like, okay, I get it. The game's like, great, you're good enough to go fight the sword master, go for it. So it does well. I mean, it's so tightly written. I think one of the most fascinating things to me when I go back and play it is this isn't a game that like piles on the dialogue or piles on the
It's
descriptions
very
or anything else.
spare.
It's
It's
sparse and it
also
works beautifully.
it's also not like hilarious. It's not like a
No.
comedy, which like I don't think initially it was like the plan was like for it to be a big like
Hmm.
Monkey Island eventually becomes a big comedy series. The first game, it's more
Yeah.
droll,
Yeah.
right? Like
Curse is downright like we're doing a comedy bit. This is
yeah,
a
like
funny
Curse
game.
is mad
Yeah.
cap,
Yeah.
goofy, laugh 'em up,
Hmm.
and Secret of Monkey Island
Whimsical at
is
some level.
it's very atmospheric.
Yeah.
It
It has a
it
touch
is
of the absurd.
yeah.
It's no, I mean, I will say for me too, like playing this as a kid, like I'm sorry. I just realized what I was about to say. I was about to say, I remember walking to Stan's shipyard and seeing the grog vending machine there as a kid and thinking it's like, this vending machine's hilarious. What an anachronism here. But then I also realized it's a little too on brand for me to say that it was like a formative moment to see a soda machine in a
Yeah,
video game.
jeez, Jess.
So yeah, no, I'll back off of that.
Yeah,
But
back the fuck off, man.
yeah, that's right. I mean, this one's we wouldn't be talking about a bracket of 16 LucasArts adventure games right now, most of which are pretty dang good games, presumably if Secret of Monkey Island didn't exist. I mean, there is no Sam and Max and Day of the Tentacle and a lot of these others, I suspect, without Secret of Monkey Island being such a smash hit and
Yep.
really locking in what this LucasArts formula was going to be in a lot of ways.
All right, let's go. Countdown.
Okay, and we'll just is it curse or secret?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Three,
3,
two,
2, 1.
one.
Secret.
Curse. No. Okay. Now this goes to reconciliation. And don't worry, folks, if you're worrying this could take too long, our official rules here say reconciliation cannot last more than 1 hour.
Okay.
So
So here's
oh,
what it is. I think I enjoy Curse more, but I think that Secret is like all right. Let's talk about the negative parts of both and
okay,
let's weigh the
okay.
feathers.
Curse has none.
No, Curse has
What?
Curse has a weak ending.
Okay.
Curse has the insult sword fighting. Curse
Mm-hmm.
has a little bit of a loss of momentum in some parts in Blood Island, I would say.
Yes. Slows
I
down a
would
little bit.
then for Secret, I would say Secret's major flaw is that it loses some momentum on Monkey Island. Like
Yes.
I think that Monkey Island
A lot of
is
back and forth.
like it doesn't quite have the fun
Mm-mm.
of the melee opening or the ship sequence.
Yeah.
But once you like, but I wouldn't say it's all bad. I would
No.
say it's just like it just doesn't have like just kind of wandering around a mostly deserted island that's huge is just not as exciting as like this like much more like kind of packed island.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
here's
Curse
why
also
I
has.
went for Secret
Okay.
over Curse, because I love Curse.
Mm-hmm.
um I think that Secret just represents so much more. And I think that like, you said like we wouldn't be doing this without Secret.
Mm-hmm.
That was the determining factor. I think that Secret is such a like it is such a like a foundational game that is still a pleasure to play today. It's not like it's like, oh, it's a foundational game, but like you can skip ahead. It's fine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Um
The
it
way you like,
is
yeah, no, yeah.
it is a fun game to play, and there are still sequences in it that I think are brilliant. And I'll name three. One I've already said. One is the insult sword fighting. That's number
Mm-hmm.
one. Number two is the sequence where you break into the
Oh,
governor's
that's so
mansion, which
good.
I
It's
think
so
is
good.
one of the greatest comedy sequences. Like just such a really
Mm-hmm.
clever sequence. And number three is when you poke the parrot. Like that whole
Those are all, I mean,
sequence.
yeah,
and I,
that's true.
and then I'll throw in a fourth, which is when the guy who trains you brings out the machine. Um
No,
and
and I
and
mean,
so
the
I mean
Voodoo
I could
Lady
name
sequences
great
are
moments in
good.
Curse of Monkey
Yeah.
Island.
Of
I think
course.
Duck Island is one, like Skull Duck
Mhm.
Island. I think that's a brilliant. But
Yeah.
I just think because it's foundational, because it's still great,
Mhm.
like Curse has more, but the fact that like Secret doesn't have that many demerits, that it established so much, that it's such a rich, like it's
Mhm.
still such a pleasure to play. That's what, like it's such a tight experience.
Yes.
And so that's why I went with Secret.
Yeah, I mean, to sum up why I went with Curse, I just love that game, man. I just love that game. And I mean, I know deep down in my heart that Secret deserves to advance here. But ooh, man, I mean, again,
It's
Curse is
me or
beautiful.
Heart.
Yeah, no,
Pick it so we can move on.
well, and I mean, Curse also has maybe the grossest puzzle in adventure game
I love that
history.
puzzle. It is disgusting though. When you,
I mean, it's a
yeah,
wonderful puzzle. The
yeah,
peeling, you're thinking
yeah,
of peeling the back
yeah,
skin off the
yeah,
guy, right?
yeah.
I mean, that's
Disgusting.
terrible. But it's also a very good puzzle.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I think Curse of Monkey Island, of the two, I may love it a little more. I agree that Secret is the better game. So Ben, I will concede to you.
All right. I win.
And Secret moves ahead. And plus, this will get us a lot fewer death threats.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going the path of least resistance. I'm complying in
That's the best way
advance.
through a bracket.
Now, Jess, what's next?
Next is our final round 2 matchup. We have a number 3 seed, Day of the Tentacle. That's Maniac Mansion 2 to you and me, Russ. And number 6 seed, Indiana Jones and One Fate of Atlantis.
I hate to say it, but this one is easy to me.
There you hear it. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis advances.
yeah, that's
Sorry,
I knew.
another kick in the teeth to Tim Schafer.
No, this is the like, I think there will be more to say about Day of the Tentacle later, because in my opinion, will probably advance. I think What I love Fate of Atlantis.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think but the thing is that the reason that Day of the Tentacle made it so far in so many people's lists is that it is like such a clever and bulletproof design, and Fate of Atlantis
Mhm.
is gloriously messy in some ways.
Yeah,
Like
like
it
Maniac Mansion before it, Day of the Tentacle is remarkably complex and somehow manages to tie up all of its loopholes and make this a pretty complex storyline and design come together. And I mean, it truly is impressive. It's funny, iconic characters, gorgeous, wonderful voice acting. Faye of Atlantis is terrific. As we said in our Indiana Jones episode, Faye of Atlantis is better than like half of the Indiana Jones film franchise in a lot of ways. Sophia Hapgood is a wonderful addition
yep.
to the indie mythos. I hate to see Fate of Atlantis go here, but I don't think I can make the case to myself or our beloved listeners
The
that
the
it should, yeah, it should advance over Day of the
like
Tentacle. No.
piloting the submarine, controlling the hot air balloon, like there's so many like things in Fate of Atlantis which are a pain in the ass.
Getting in punch fights.
Least of which is Atlantis itself, which is a very unfun part of the game.
It gets real puzzly and not a fun way at the end.
Yeah.
And it's randomized. That way you can't necessarily use walkthroughs like you'd like to. Stuff like locations of items, right?
Yep.
They move around. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean that
Yep.
yeah, it slows to a crawl there at the end, which is unfortunate because it has such breezy momentum
It's
up
a
to
great
that point.
game, but
Great. Yeah, again,
Day of the Tentacle is an ease. This is an easy W for me.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Move it forward. Decided. Day of the Tentacle advances. Sorry, Indiana Jones. We now no longer have any Indiana Jones left in the bracket.
All right. Okay, we've
Okay.
now moved on to what is this? The semifinals?
I think so.
All
yeah,
right.
or is this the quarterfinals? There are four. Which comes? How's that work? Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah. There are four matchups. I'm sorry, two matchups
Yeah,
left.
there are
Four
two.
games.
Yeah.
Two matchups. Okay. Whew. So here's what we have. We have Loom going up against Sam and Max Hit the Road is our next matchup. Loom, boy, and I cannot think of two games less
two games
alike.
I would never think of.
No. It is hard to even imagine on what criteria to compare these two games.
You know what's really funny is that if this was Grim Fandango versus Sam and Max, it'd be Grim Fandango to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that mean we picked wrong? Do we have to go back and re-record this?
Well, first off,
okay.
Yeah, you never change a call.
Okay,
you never
that's
ever
right.
change a call. But second off, no, that's just how you know this head to head system works. Is
that's
that
how
I
the
think
bracket
I
rumbles.
would pick Grim Fandango over Sam and Max, but would I pick Loom over Sam and Max? Now, I really like.
You look
like
exhausted, Ben.
This is like asking me. It's like, what do you want for like what do you want for dinner? Like a delicious like steak or an expertly cooked, perfectly made roast cauliflower. Like it's like both of them I could be in the mood for. Like there's not one that I would empirically say, "Oh, I want to have a steak," because I'm not going to have a steak every night. It's going to make me feel sick. And you know,
yeah, now tell me more. Yeah, now I'd like to hear more about the steak.
I've sous vide'd, sous vide'd.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you like finish it off with a sear or anything, or just like
you
straight
always
onto the
finish it
plate?
with a sear.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna make sure.
No, you're not gonna have like this gray steak.
Yeah, I don't want a boil and bag steak if that's
No,
okay.
no,
yeah,
no,
I'm going to need that finished stuff. I had a nice steak
When
today. I have one every night.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. Well, this metaphor
I
does not
felt
work.
Yeah,
all
no,
right. How
okay.
do you feel? How do you feel? Do you think is this hard for you? Is this
This
easy for you?
is hard at some level. It's hard in that way that I don't like that I know exactly what the answer is.
I think I feel the same way. So let's just count down.
Okay.
I think we're in agreement.
Okay. 3,
Three,
2,
two, one.
1.
Sam
Sam
and
and
Max.
Max.
Okay.
Yeah, Sam
All
and
right.
Max.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, Loom had advanced so far on this. It gets in there and it gets out, and it doesn't have a chance to do too much wrong. And I think it finally caught up with it. I think that that was its that
There
was
are
its.
annoying parts of Sam and Max, which
There are
but
there are
but like that was what got Loom through, but they're not as annoying as the things that annoyed me in Full Throttle or Grim Fandango, which is how Loom defeated them. Like it's that like Sam and Max beats it, like it's able to beat it on being like, this is a good adventure game. It's not a great adventure game, but it has like, it has that LucasArts writing and personality and like
it
voice
has enough
acting
charm to
quality.
smooth over its flaws.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
even when you're kind of stuck on some of the parts of Sam and Max that maybe aren't working as well as the others, you're just like one click and a funny little line read between Sam and Max away from it's like, okay, I'm back in this. Like this is at least I'm enjoying being stuck because I'm spending time with this hilarious dog and rabbit.
All right. Okay. Well, Sam and Max, we'll see you in the finals.
Oh my
All
god.
right. What is it now? Day of the
It
Tentacle
is
and
Secret of Monkey Island, Ben. This is where the bracket really kills you. I think a lot of people would argue this should be the finals matchup. But here it
yeah,
is in what may
probably.
be the semi or quarterfinals, depending on, I think, semifinals. I've decided this
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
semifinals.
yeah. Probably. This probably should be the final.
Yeah, but it isn't.
And in
And you know
this
what?
world, this would be the final because
Yeah.
I would say these are the two best in the
Well,
list.
one of them is going to be discarded, and it will be just as bad as Labyrinth. Once we get it out of our bracket, so they'll
This
all
this
go into the
is
loser pile.
this is so yeah. I mean, there is obviously there's a wisdom of crowds. There's a
Mm-hmm.
reason why so many people love Day of the Tentacle. Um, it is also like you had a great point just then, which was that like it Day of the Tentacle uh manages to take uh that really like tight design of Maniac Mansion, and in some ways it simplifies it because you don't select like a party like you
Right.
do in Maniac Mansion, which is like the most impressive parlor trick
It
that
is.
Maniac Mansion pulls. This is more of a traditional adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, but that it is able, like the magnificent trick of Day of the Tentacle is that it does this complicated time travel plot. You control three characters, one's in the past, one's in the present, one's in the future, and they interact with each other, and like it's the traditional LucasArts thing. Um you have a big open sequence with three objectives. And you could do them in any order. Uh and but like that it's able to do this kind of mind bending time travel thing. You have three characters that are three distinct characters that are like have these wonderful character designs. Like
Oh,
the
absolutely.
animation
Yeah.
is just spectacular.
I could watch Laverne walk around all day. Like that walk cycle
Yeah.
is just beautiful. I, I mean, I think about this and it's like, are we grading on difficulty at some level? Because I feel like Day of the Tentacle is by several degrees more
Art.
ambitious
Yeah.
than Secret of Monkey Island. I mean, it is trying to do some really, challenging stuff narratively and puzzle design wise and everything else. And it absolutely sticks the landing. Like, I mean, it pulls it off. It pulls it off and makes it look easy. Monkey Island maybe is a little bit ambitious, less ambitious in what it's trying to achieve, but it also just absolutely nails it. So it's hard to hold that against it. I mean, in a lot of ways, the simplicity of Monkey Island is where its beauty lies. I mean, I think it set a new standard for what we expect out of adventure games as far as signposting and some other basic and just like a 3-act structure, clear definition of what your current goals are. I mean, I feel like Monkey Island really gives us the roadmap that countless adventure games since then have followed along closely with. So this is difficult.
This is killing me, Jess. I think I know.
Wow.
I think I
This
know.
soon.
I think I know. Yeah.
Ben, do you want to say? I'm not sure if I'm ready to count down. Ben, tell me what's on your mind, though.
All right. I am I'm kind of annoyed at myself, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
because
So are
I'm
our listeners right now.
leaning yeah. I'm I'm leaning towards Day of the Tentacle, and I don't like that, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
But
Why
like
don't you like it? Tell me why
I don't
you
like
aren't.
it because that's the boring pick. That's the most like because if Dave
Oh no! Don't say this, Ben. No.
I mean, yeah, I mean, who knows what will happen next? But like, I have a pretty strong feeling about the outcome of the finals.
Yeah. Stay tuned for an exciting announcement at the end. Don't turn off now.
Uh, and because it's like all right, I've been like, I don't know if I've been grading any of these on any sort of consistent criteria other
No.
than like my real like gut and feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if I think about what I've said, and I'm sure people listening as opposed to me thinking of thinking of what I'm saying. I think a lot of the criteria I've been thinking about when making these picks is like like a cohesive design, which is
Mm-hmm.
what like both of these games have such they're both sharp as a tack in
Yes.
terms of their design. Now, Secret of Monkey Island, as I said, is like the foundational game of that. The reason that that I lean towards Day of the Tentacle is that I feel that Day of the Tentacle, by merit of being so clever in its puzzle design, is a realization of the promise that a game
Ah.
like Secret of Monkey Island makes when it says
Yeah.
like we are like we're Lucasfilm or it was Lucasfilm still at that point.
Yeah. The
Lucasfilm
first one.
Games,
Yeah.
and we make adventure games, and this is what they are.
No dead
And
ends. And yeah,
yeah,
no deaths. And
and Day of the Tentacle, and we have like this kind of like kooky originality, this type of sense of humor,
mhm.
and kind of like mind bending like puzzles, but they make sense. Um, I think that Day of the Tentacle is the one that like fulfills what it is, and I would say more so than Curse, which Curse I think is an exceptional
Mhm.
adventure game. Day of the Tentacle is a game that like delivers on like a design ethos that Lucas
Yeah.
Games had, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm leaning towards Day of the Tentacle, even though I'm like, "Ugh, that's the boring pick." And
It is. I mean, at the same time, too, like I hate to say, well, sorry, Secret of Monkey Island, you should have tried being a multimedia extravaganza when you came out.
yeah,
How lazy of you not to have full voice and all that. But you know, I will say the multimedia aspects of Day of the Tentacle elevate it so much more to. I mean, it's like it's hard to think of. I know Day of the Tentacle is a disc game first, but it's hard to think of it without the amazing voice work. I mean, top to bottom. I mean, Hoagie's segment with Ben Franklin, then what, and then what? And then it's just it's ingrained in my head forever. Every line read that Laverne gives, Bernard is also fantastic. Oh, I mean, yeah, top to bottom, every supporting character is just knocks it out of the park. Part of me, Wes, hold me up. Like if you ask me tomorrow,
Yeah.
you said, "Hey, Jess."
Hey, Jess.
Thank you. You have tomorrow morning free. You have 2 or 3 hours to play an adventure game. Which of these two do you pick up? I pick up Secret of Monkey Island, which is the only thing giving me just a little bit of pause. But I think that's because, and I think this is a concept we'll probably talk about in a future podcast. Big time comfort game for me. Like that is a chill.
Yeah.
I want to relax with an adventure game for me. Monkey Island 1, but I think I like how you conceptualize this. I think that in a lot of ways, Monkey Island is like the proof of concept that this LucasArts philosophy can generate a really fantastic game. But then, like, that's the first stab of this. By Day of the Tentacle, they're showing we can take this philosophy and do wildly impressive things with it. Ben, as boring as it is, like here, let me tell you, deep down, I was sort of hoping we would be advancing Curse of Monkey Island to the finals right now. And I don't have it out for Secret of Monkey Island.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that Curse is better than Day of the Tentacle? Because
no, I couldn't say that
I would
either.
have. See, the thing is, I would have said Day of the Tentacle again.
I think I still would have too. I mean, I think it's again, I may like Curse a little better, but I know that is simple, and I don't even know then.
It's just I think
Day of the Tentacle's so good. I mean, again, there's a reason why it's the obvious choice in all of these matchups. It's hard to find flaw with Day of the Tentacle, and I think with a lot of these other games, we have found flaws, and it's one that I just really struggle to think about. What did Day of the Tentacle do wrong? And I keep coming up kind of empty on it. So Day of the Tentacle advances for me too, Ben.
All right.
I'm right there with you. So we're at the finals.
Do you want to just do a countdown, or do you?
No. Okay. So cards on the table. I think we're both going to agree.
This is kind of a disappointing Super Bowl, right? Like it's like
it is a disappointing Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl.
It's a disappointing big game. We didn't say.
I'm sorry. Yeah, edit that out.
Edit. Computer delete.
Yeah, that's why we waited until April to do this thing, was because we were afraid March Madness was trademarked.
Delete. Edit. No. Oh yeah, and that's why we do it now, because of the Oscar.
Yeah. Oh no. The Academy Awards? Can we say that?
I don't know. Anyway. All right.
I mean, I
what's
guess what
your
I would
defense for what?
This is what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
What is, like, in what universe? What case do you make that Sam and Max goes over Day of the Tentacle here? Like, if you had to convince gun to your head, so someone says, "Tell me why Sam and Max is a better game than Day of the Tentacle." What case do you make for them?
All right. So Day of the Tentacle and Sam and Max. So yeah, let's construct this case. Let's do it. So Day of the Tentacle and Sam and Max are both games that the promise to the player is that you're inside a cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Something that a lot of games tried to promise around this time, and very few delivered successfully.
That's right. Like in Day of the Tentacle has that like very intentional Chuck Jones style art, like explicitly. But Sam and Max, by virtue of its pedigree coming from those comic strips, it exists in this like kind of cartoon reality which is very specific and original, and like therefore, it has that over Day of the Tentacle. I would say that the I'll return to the thing that I've said every time, which is that the joke quality and density
Mm-hmm.
is better. The batting average for every joke that Sam and Max tease up, it has a better hit rate
Yeah.
than like many other games. That includes Day of the Tentacle.
Yeah,
Day
I would
of
say,
the
I mean, having
Tentacle,
replayed this recently, I mean,
yeah.
it's like it's not batting 1,000, but it's not far off Sam and Max. I mean, it really does nail it, and it's beautifully written in that
Day
sense.
of the Tentacle does have the talking
Mhm.
horse, which is one
Oh, it
of the
does.
funniest jokes. Just this incredible non sequitur that just makes me laugh every time. But
Hmm.
um, like there's this uh so like obviously this reference level is just not going to work if you are outside of this country. But I'm inside it, unfortunately, at this moment, I would say. And uh but uh it uh the that flavor of um this kind of road trip mid-century Americana, biggest ball of twine,
Hmm.
the weird spot. That was a idea that was getting a lot of traction. I said that this was wholly original, but like that was an idea that was getting a lot of traction in the mid 90s, right?
What's that? Mystery
Like,
spots
well, mystery spots, there's
and
in that
roadside
incredible
attractions?
episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah,
But like this like ironic usages of Route 66,
yeah, and Americana
like
in general.
drive-in
Yeah,
stuff. Like you kind of see it
absolutely.
in like Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
Yeah.
and you see it in like
Oh,
you
yeah,
just
that's
kind of
actually
see it in music videos a lot. Like a lot of music
yeah.
videos contemporary to then, like kind of traded in that iconography.
Mhm.
Jesus Christ, I sound like such a fucking dork.
No,
But
absolutely. No, actually, this is fascinating to me because I had never really thought about Sam and Max in the context of Pee Wee's Big Adventure,
it's a
but they
big
are cut.
T-Rex. They both have the
Yeah,
big T-Rex.
that's right. And so does Fallout New Vegas. So, there you have it.
Yeah.
But it does. I mean, they're cut very much from the same cloth. Yeah, this was, I think, something, I think even MTV was enjoying playing around with some of
Oh,
this sort of
absolutely. To loop
Americana
back to what we were
iconography.
talking about at the beginning of the
Yeah,
podcast,
that's
yes.
right. That's right. Yeah. No, I mean, it's absolutely there. I would agree 100%. And I do think that gives it, for me, it lends it a definite charm. It's hard not to kind of love that setting. And again, if you're someone sort of steeped in this culture, especially. But I mean, I think those are all good points. I do think this idea that, you know, as a creation of Steve Purcell and existing so much in its just own little world, there's something special about Sam and Max, and something special about Sam and Max that will persist through all the later sequels that come out through Telltale and and everything else. I mean, it's an iconic duo, it's an iconic world that they exist in. I do love that about it. But again, it's hard to argue that it's a better game than Day of the Tentacle. And again, I hate that we're here. Like in a perfect world right now, like we would somehow be making the argument that like, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was the best LucasArts game just because of how angry it would make all of our listeners. Like that would make me kind of happy if we were like really having to, slap people with an uncomfortable outcome to this. But I'm afraid we have arrived at
Oh my God. It's Space Quest 6 just entered the room.
by God, they're playing Space Quest 6's music.
It's fucking Soylent clear.
New Soylent Clear at last it's here with clearly better taste. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I mean it's
Plus people too. Yeah.
I know. It's Day of the Tentacle. It's Day of the Tentacle. It's Day of the Tentacle all day long. Day of the Tentacle.
Boo.
Boo! The Boo Birds are out.
Boo! I'm bored.
So you're
bored. This sucks.
Okay, Ben.
I'm so mad.
Would this be any different if there had been no bracket? If I was to ask you best LucasArts game, is it still Day of the Tentacle, no matter how we jumble these?
You know, the crazy thing is I would probably say Secret of Monkey Island. After all of that, I would probably say Secret of Monkey Island.
Day of the Tentacle eliminated it.
I know. Listen, I don't know. Listen, there's just some bracket magic.
No, we've got buyer's remorse already.
You know what? Hold on. I'm looking up in the air. What's that? What's flying above me? Oh no, it's Boo Birds.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I guess the thing is, like, when we're reading these headlines on Tuesday morning on Kotaku and Rock Paper Shotgun and the Huffington Post and everywhere else,
Politico, Axios.
When they're like Quest determines best LucasArts game,
most boring choice.
Yeah, they're gonna be like confirming what thousands of people have said in the past.
Why'd we do this?
I thought we were going to have something more provocative.
They're going to do a story that they're going to be like, and then one of the hosts said that his favorite was actually one that he eliminated.
No, and it's going to be really fun too when we do the Sierra one. When we do the Sierra one, we get to the end, they're like, oh, they chose Gabriel Knight too, or whatever.
I know which one will win. That's a close listeners of the podcast and certainly close watchers of my stream know exactly which one will rocket to the top.
Yeah, I mean, this is the worst outcome we could have had, Ben.
This was a waste of 3 hours.
But I mean, if nothing else, we now know where we stand, like with each other.
With the most norm-ass tastes of all adventure games.
Look, I wanted Curse of Monkey Island, but no. You had to pick Secret, and I was like, oh no.
Listen,
Ben,
we've just been at loose ends ever since I did a tasteless Southern bumpkin accent at the start of this.
I've been fuming this entire time. Like, I didn't want to say anything, but I've been fucking fuming this entire time. I'm so angry at you. So no, I mean, at some level, I feel like this is what you deserved. You deserved a boring outcome here. So it's Day of the Tentacle. Let me tell you, gang, it's a pretty good game. If you haven't played Day of the Tentacle, you should get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Just Google fun tentacles. And it should take you straight. It should take you straight to the Steam page.
Oh yeah, and make sure and Steam, the Steam store has recently been having some problems with their SEO. They're having some sort of Gabe is having some sort of spat with Google, so you have to turn off safe search when you do that search. So you have to turn off safe search in Google, and type in. What was it? Good tentacles?
Fun tentacles.
Fun tentacles. Better.
Yeah.
Turn off the safe search. Type in fun tentacles.
What is the? I wonder what the first result is. I'm doing this live on the air, Ben.
All right.
If I die,
we're making ourselves laugh with our own.
It's not.
It's not gonna be something.
No, nothing's good here. What's going on?
Yeah, the internet hasn't been good for like 15 years.
Here on the first page is a link to something called Consensual Fun with Tentacles.
All right.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Not what I was hoping. But they can all be winners.
That's how I felt
just like
about
this podcast.
Yeah, that's right. That's how I felt about this podcast.
Ben, is there any game from this bracket that you found yourself reaching a newfound appreciation of even one of the ones that we eliminated along the way.
Fate of Atlantis and Loom, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Miss Congeniality?
Oh, who's Loom may be miscongeniality, right? Loom takes out the number 1 seed in the second round.
Yeah.
Which I feel like Loom at that point becomes the Cinderella story. So it really overperforms for us.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's one that for me, the more I thought about it as we talked about Day of the Tentacle, I'll be honest, I appreciated Maniac Mansion a little bit more in hindsight. I feel like the more as to me, I think years ago, I looked at those two and I'm like, that's not really a sequel to that. I mean, I know it's got tentacles and the Edisons and Bernard and everything, but it feels like a completely different game. I played Day of the Tentacle before I played, well, no, that's not true. But I certainly played Day of the Tentacle before I spent a lot of time with Maniac Mansion. And I think looking back, I really can see what the progression is there in a way that maybe I didn't think about before. But I mean, still, it's not like I would have advanced it over Curse of Monkey Island.
You know what the real boring thing is that like after this whole conversation, I'm like, I think I want to play Day of the Tentacle now. I hear it's a pretty good game.
You're so basic, man. No, I mean, yeah. Wait until the word gets out after this episode releases that Day of the Tentacle's good. There's going to be a rush on that in the Steam store.
Who owns all that now? Is it Disney? I guess it is Disney, right? Because they own Lucas.
Yeah, I guess it's Disney. Yeah.
So,
Laverne is my favorite Disney princess.
All right. Okay. Unpacking
We did it, Ben.
We did it.
Thank you. It took us 3 hours to do something we could have done in 30 seconds.
Could have just Googled what is the best LucasArts game, not Grim. Well, thank you so much for listening to Quest, the adventure game podcast. If you have any thoughts on the bracket or anything else, shoot us an email at questquestpodcast@gmail.com, or you could send us a request. You could send us something. Is there an adventure game, something you'd like us to discuss? I mean, we'll definitely get to that Sierra one. Not next.
Yeah,
though. We're not doing this.
This went so well. I don't know why we wouldn't.
Yeah, shoot us an email at questquestpodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to give this podcast a 5-star review. It helps people find it. So then more people can be like, oh, Day of the Tentacle. Huh. And
you don't say.
Yeah. You can watch both of us on Twitch. I'm PS_Garrick. Jess, you are
Decaf Jedi.
And we're also both on YouTube under those names as well. And join us next week when Ben and Jess talk about why their favorite ice cream flavor is vanilla.